Having incredible consistency is by far the most desirable skill everyone wants to learn. But for some reason, no matter if you're iron or even immortal, this is the biggest issue that you have, which is why in the past 5 years of coaching over 1,000 students, I think I found the best methods to finally become a truly consistent player.
And before we get into the next tip, if you struggle with ping issues and are just annoyed from dying to people because of your internet, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Exit Lag. Exit Lag has leading technology that keeps your game smooth and even has AI route optimization that helps you find the best path to game servers to ensure that you're getting the lowest ping possible and that your connection is always stable. It is super easy to download. Just go onto their website, log in, and click download. After it's all installed, all you'll need to do is to turn on Exit Lag with the button on the top left of the screen, and then you can start your game and enjoy a lag-free experience from there. You can use Exit Lag in more than 2,000 games and has optimized servers all around the world for you to try. Here is an example of my ping before Exit Lag and after turning it on. If you are interested, Exit Lag is currently hosting a sale right now for 50% off their yearly and quarterly plans. So make sure to click on the link in the top of the description and the pinned comment so you don't miss out on this amazing deal.
Now, before we can start thinking about ever becoming consistent, the main factor that makes someone a great player is to master the art of perfect flicking. Having perfect flicks are the most important aspect of someone's aim in Valorant. If you're not actively training this, you're really shooting yourself in the foot. I want to take an example of Energy Mata, who just won the VCT champs in his rookie year. As you can clearly see in his clips, he has very smooth and accurate aim and heavily relies on his flicks to land each target. Almost 90% of the fights you take in Valorant require this skill, and no matter what rank you're at, it is still very important to train it every single day. It's kind of like Kobe Bryant, who is notoriously known to have a very simple yet intensive practice regimen, like shooting 400 free throws every day without fail. Even though it might seem super simple, what truly differentiates an average player to a champion is completely perfected fundamentals. So how can one reach that level of skill? Besides insane hard work and obsession, the first step is to understand the perfect flicking technique. To become great at flicking, you must practice optimally. The goal for each flick that you make is to break it up into 2 parts and focus each one separately. This will help you with accuracy and removes all guesswork on your aim. The first mouse movement onto the target should be you intentionally under flicking. This is because even looking at the clips Mata has, no one can hit their flicks 100% of the time at their first shot. So the proper technique to get very consistent aim is to always under flick and be as close to the target as possible, which is where step 2 comes in, where we should add another mouse movement to make up for it, or what is called a micro adjustment. By doing this easy method of aiming, you will notice yourself being so much more consistent than ever before and actually start hitting your shots more often. But one thing that a lot of players forget is that Valorant is not a game where enemies stand still and you actually have to move while you shoot. And this is one of the most crucial steps that holds back so many players. So to actively practice this, I suggest going into an aim trainer like Aimlabs or Kovacs to isolate this skill and rapidly improve. Again, you can see this everywhere with the best aimers in the world like Primi and Aspas, who constantly move during their fights. Now, a lot of people say aim training is a waste of time, but that has been proven wrong over and over again, and I can vouch for myself that practicing my aim through these aim trainers was one of the biggest reasons I was able to reach Immortal in just 1 month of playing. So to make it so much easier for you, I have a full free aim guide and routine, which is in my Discord, and you can find the link in the top of the description, that has helped the average player go from a 0.85 KD to a 1.2 KD in their ranked games. Now moving on into the next tip, we need to master the art of adapting. The one misconception that so many people make is that for you to improve your game sense, you must VOD review 24/7. Now, this is sort of correct, but without intention behind watching back your games and figuring out what you should do with the information you get from it, there will be zero improvement from you, and honestly, it's just a waste of time. Okay, but Rooney, how can you transfer all of this knowledge and apply it into your ranked games? The best method I want to teach you is to use pattern recognition. This is a heavily underrated method to make choices faster and never be confused about what plays you should make. But how do we read the enemy so well that every fight feels easy? I want you to understand that in ranked, people tend to do the same thing over and over again, especially when something works. Say an enemy on defense walks it down A main, goes for a flank, and gets a 3k from it. Since it worked once, they will 100% try to do it again. Or if an enemy on attack lurks mid and was able to pick off 2 players on your team, since it worked once, they will 1000% do it again. Our goal in each game isn't to guess what the enemies will do, but use use the information around us to make educated predictions. You can do this by keeping track of what utility they throw, what type of playstyle they have, and what their team comp allows them to do. Remember that every single ranked game that you're in is different, which is why so many people are inconsistent. You try to do something similar to a previous match that gets you an ace, but it actually doesn't apply to this one due to so many different factors there are. Hence why mastering the art of adaptability is so important and is the best thing to do if you want to become a truly consistent player. And if you want to transform your rank and reach Immortal as fast as you possibly can, join the 1% Club. If you're tired of spending 5 hours a day playing Valorant but still feel like you're getting worse, this is exactly what I help my students with every day. I've helped hundreds of players on average rank up over 400 RR in just a couple weeks, like Bailey, who went from a Hearthstone Silver 2 player to now reaching his peak rank of Platinum 1 with one coaching session, or my student EXO, who went from a struggling Ascendant 1 player to reaching Immortal 3 in just a couple of months, or even Quinex, who gained over 500 RR in just 2.5 weeks and reached Radiant for his first time ever. And to give you even more incentive to join, you will also be with over 100 like-minded players in this private community who are all striving for the same goals as you. And I will even buy you Kovacs if you don't have it already, so that you can use the exact broken aim routines that I've made, just like everyone else does, who now averages a 1.2 KD in ranked. I'm currently doing a Halloween sale, so join the 1% Club today by clicking the link in the top of the description. Finally, going into the last tip of the video. The true secret to becoming a deadly consistent player is to master your habits. Mastering your habits might sound corny as hell, but it's truly the reason why so many of my students and even myself have improved so fast. I would never be where I am today without them. If I didn't aim train daily, I would have never reached Immortal in 1 month. If I didn't push myself to network with others, I would have never gotten full-time jobs. If I didn't develop the habit to track my macros, I would have never lost over 100 pounds. And if I didn't build the habit of working on my YouTube channel every day, I would have never been able to get this chance of pursuing this dream of mine as a job. This isn't to flex, as I know I am nowhere near the man I'm striving to be. However, from a silly game like Valorant, I learned what it truly takes to reach the top 1% in anything that you do. It is by obsessively fixating on the habits that you do every single day. But I know it's hard. I know it's difficult to push yourself to aim train or do those 2-hour grind sessions on deathmatches, especially if you're someone who has huge dreams and aspirations to make it pro in this game. And be like NRG, who had 3 rookie players become the best in the world literally overnight. Valorant is the only game where anyone can go from nothing to the world's best, and any of you watching can achieve that. But it all comes down to your discipline and your daily habits, which is why I want to introduce a method to you that I like using to make sure I reach my goals every single year, and that is the Eat the Frog method. The Eat the Frog method is super simple and is much less gross than you might expect. Basically, you choose the hardest goal out of your day that you need to complete. That could be doing your aim training session, VOD reviewing, playing your daily 10 deathmatches, or even outside the game like going to the gym and studying for your exams. The Eat the Frog method cuts out all the bullshit procrastination you might have and removes all the tension from it by just eating the frog. And that is by doing the hardest task of your day the moment you wake up. There are a bunch of benefits from this. Like right after waking up, our brain is in a relaxed and quiet state, making it easier for us to learn and develop skills much faster. But the main benefit for me is just being able to do the most challenging thing out of my whole entire day early and getting it out of the way. If you know you have to do something anyways, it is always much better to get it out early rather than later, because you'll probably forget it or even consciously make the decision to skip it due to laziness. This is by far the best tip that cured all of my inconsistency, and out of everything in this video, I highly, and I mean highly, recommend implementing this to master your habits. To learn how to be truly consistent and to have me find your weaknesses and finally help you improve, join the 1% Club today by clicking the top link in the description. And remember, you only fail when you stop trying. I'll see you soon. Mwah.